Hey everybody, and welcome to this 1202 course where I'm going to be taking you through exam objective 1.5. We're going to go through all of the Microsoft command line tools today. So all of the tools that are outlined in your exam objective 1.5 that you can see here on the screen now, we're going to go through them and we're going to be familiar with when you would use them, how they work, etc. And I'm going to give you some hints and tips and tricks on what you should do to make sure you are ready for your exam. At the end of the video, as usual, I'm going to be giving you practice questions for your exam as well. Now, before we move on to doing that, if you are new here, my name is Matt and I help people pass their CompTIA A+, 1201 and 1202 examinations. You can have a look at these comments, what people are saying about my resources, about my free YouTube lessons as well. My notes helped this person pass their test, this person passed and are now moving on to their Network Plus with almost full marks. This person passed their Core 1, this person passed their Core 1, moving on to their Core 2. So you get the picture, right? Stick with me and I'm gonna get you through all of this stuff. So in this course, we're gonna go over all of the different commands. This lesson in particular, we're going to go over navigation. How do you actually move through the command prompt? Disk management, system information, network tools, file operations, and OS management. All of this, everything you need to know, we're going to do it. So are you ready to go? Trick question, I know you are. All right, let's do it. So we're going to start with navigation. How do we actually move around through the command prompt? First of all, what does that mean, right? We're in the command prompt on Windows, right? This is like the way that we navigate through our system using commands. We can't click, right? If I try to click, there's nothing here. I have to use commands. If I try to type in, hey, take me to the file called downloads, this computer doesn't know what that means. It's just going to tell me take is not a recognized as an internal or external command. So I need to know how to talk to this system to allow it to actually, to allow me to go through it and move through it. I need to be able to move to the file that I want to move to the folder, maybe rename a file, right? I need to know the specific commands in order to do all of that stuff. And that's what we're going to do today. Just only the ones that the exam objectives want us to be able to do. So let's get started. The first one is the CD command. CD essentially stands for change directory. So it changes the current working directory in command prompt. A directory is just a folder, guys, basically. It is just a folder, okay? So let's have a look at this in action. We've got a few different ways we can use this, right? We can say CD followed by just the name of the directory we want to go to. Let's have a look at what that looks like. So first of all, I need to find out where I am. I need to show you a list of things. So I'm going to use a different command to get that list of available directories up now. Ignore this command. We're going to learn about it next. All right. So, right, I'm here. These are all of the different folders. Where it says dir, that's just a folder or a directory that I can go into. So if I want to use the cd command, all I have to do is say, let's say I want to go into the downloads directory or the downloads folder. I'm just going to type in cd, and it is case sensitive. So I have to use a capital D if it has a capital D. I'm going to go cd downloads, and I'm going to hit enter. Did anything happen? Yes, it did. Because you can see before I was in matc, my name, and now I'm in matc/downloads. So I have successfully moved into that directory. How else can we use this? Let's take a look. We can use this in another way. CD followed by a space and 2 dots. What will that do? All right, well, if I do CD followed by 2 dots, that is going to move me essentially up 1 level or back where I just came from in this instance. So it's going to move me 1 level up. So I'm going to exit the current directory and go back to the directory that directory was contained within. I'll show you what that means. That's a lot of nonsense talk, essentially. But if I want to go back to just matc, see how I'm in matc downloads? If I want to go back to matc, I can type in cd space ... and I will go from my current directory back to the one that this directory is contained within. I'm going to go up 1 level. Okay, now you can see I am back in just matc. All right, so I can type in cd followed by the name, or I can type in cd followed by 2 dots to go up 1 level. How else can I use the cd command? cd followed by a slash moves to root directory of current drive. So let's have a look at that. All right, CD followed by a slash moves me all the way to the root. So I'm out of users, I'm out of mat C, I'm at the highest possible level, okay? So long story short, that is CD. So long as you've got your head around the fact that that's how you can maneuver throughout your system, you're gonna be fine, okay? That's how you change directories, change folders. The next one we need to know about, you can read this if you want, but you just need to have your head wrapped around those basics really. The next one is the dir command, or the dir command, but it stands for directory. So basically what this does is it displays a list of files and subdirectories. So it shows you all of the directories and files that are in your current directory. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I'm going to clear all this. I'm going to go to, why don't I go back to cd users slash mat C. All right. So I'm in currently users slash mat C. I don't know what folders are available to me here. If I want to see what folders, directories, files are here, I'm going to type in the command dir. Press enter, and that will show me all of the current folders. It will show me all of the current files as well. So similarly, if I now change directory into, let's say why don't I go to the documents? So if I go, remember, we're just going to say cd and then documents. Now, if I press the dir command, it will show me only the files and directories that are within this particular folder. So long story short, dir shows you what directories or files are in your current folder that you're in. That's functionally what you need to know, really. There are some other additional commands or variations. Read this if you want, but for the sake of keeping this video short and simple, I am going to just leave it there because functionally that's what you need to know. All the details are in my learning guide, or you can pause and read those slides as well. Now, network tools, right? We're moving from moving around to some specific network tools. So the cd command and the dir command is what you need to know on how to move around. Now let's get into some actual commands that will do some things or provide us with some information. So the first one we need to know about is ipconfig. What does ipconfig do? It displays our TCP/IP network configuration for adapters, and it shows us our current IP address, our subnet mask, and our DNS information. All right, you can manage your IP settings, and you can release and renew addresses as well. Let's have a look at what this looks like in action. So let's clear all this nonsense. Why don't I just do a new tab? Okay, so I've got a fresh one. Now, if I type in ipconfig and I press enter, boom, it's going to give me all of this different information. So it's going to tell me about all of my different adapters. It will give me my IP address. It will give me my subnet mask, okay? If I need to know what my IP address is, if I need to know what my subnet mask is, ipconfig is going to be what I am going to need to use. Functionally, that's what you're going to need to know. It also breaks it down. It gives you your link local address, your IPv4 address, your subnet mask, and your default gateway as well. So if you're like, hey, I don't know what my default gateway is, ipconfig is going to be what you want to be using. Now, some other ways we can use this. If we type in ipconfig/all, it's going to give us full configuration details, MAC address, DHCP, DNS, ipconfig/release will release your current IP address. So you say, I don't need this anymore, release it. ipconfig/renew will request a new IP address. ipconfig/flush DNS will clear your DNS resolver cache. So have a read of this, right? I'm not going to show you each of these in action because you get the picture. The specifics, if I show you each of these individually, we'll be here all day, okay? But I do want you to try to play around with these after this video is done and you're actually trying to do some of the tasks that I give you at the end of this video. But just know ipconfig showed you your IP address, your link local address, and gives you all of this information here, and you can also release or renew your IP address using ipconfig. Now, the ping command. What does the ping command do? It's a simple way to test connectivity to your destination. So if you want to maybe see, hey, I have a suspicion that computer number 2 is not connected to the network. So I'm going to try to ping that and see if I get a response. If I don't get a response, I know it is not connected. If my ping fails, then I know that's not working, right? For example, or alternatively, you might say, hey, I want to see if my device can access the network. So I'm going to try to ping someone. And if I can't, maybe my device just simply cannot access the network. It's usually a good first troubleshooting step to see if you can actually access the network. So what does this look like in action? Simply, we're going to go ahead and type in the command ping, and then followed by either a IP address or a URL. In this case, I'm just going to do the IP address 8.8.8.8. Let's ping it and we'll see. All right, so it is pinging and it's going to tell me I got to reply. All right. And it gives me some very simple information. Basically, it's saying I got to reply. This is how many bytes. This is the time, and this is the time to live. Right. So if I want a very simple command that tests simple basic connectivity, can I talk to you? Can you hear me? And can you return that same signal back to me? I would use ping. Okay. But there are some instances where ping isn't actually enough, and we want something more than ping. Read that if you want, but really, you get the gist of it there. Okay, I'm not going to go through the details with you for everyone. The netstat command is also a network-related one that you need to know about. So what does it do? It shows your active network connections. It displays your listening ports. That's going to be an important thing to know if you're going into cybersecurity, because if you have certain ports open, you'll be an easy target. Okay, so you need to know what ports you do or don't have open. It also shows other network statistics as well. Okay, so when would you use this? If you want to examine your network activity, if you want to check your open ports and make sure you're secure, right, on that port front. So netstat, let's have a look at it in action before we read all of this. Okay, I'm just going to type in netstat and you'll have a look. It gives me the protocol that's operating. It gives me the local address, the foreign address, and the state. So I have an established connection that is TCP on these addresses. All right, so it's going to continue to update that and show me all of those. So now I have this information, but I can do more with this, right? Here are some other specifics of what you can do on top of the netstat command. So netstat followed by a /a will show you all active connections and listening ports. Netstat followed by /n, numerical addresses and ports, right? You get the picture. You can read this. Just know netstat shows you your active connections and what ports are currently listening, established, etc. All right. So the nslookup command is essentially your DNS query tool. So if you want to know what domain name is associated with a particular IP address, or what IP address is associated with a particular domain name, you would use the nslookup command. So let's go ahead and look at this in action. Let's say I've got the IP address 8.8.8.8, but I want to know what that is associated with. So I can go nslookup 8.8.8.8, and it will tell me, okay, so the name is dns.google. So that is Google's DNS server. All right, fantastic. Now I know. Similarly, if I were to go nslookup dns.google, I would get the IP addresses for that. So I can see now there's an alternative IP address 8.8.4.4 as well, which is in operation. All right, so I can see what is an IP address associated with, and what is the URL associated, or what is the IP address of a URL as well. It gives me that information. Okay, so that is good to know. Now, another one is, again, pause and look, right? But you get the idea. You can just do nslookup, IP address, the host name, or the server, and it will give you the relevant information that we just went through. Netuse. Now, netuse is basically what you will use to connect to a shared network resource. So network drives, printers on remote computers. If you want to use something over the network, you're going to use the netuse command. All right. So for example, if you wanted to map a network share to a drive letter, you would use netuse followed by the drive letter, followed by the colon dash dash, the computer / and then share. All right. So long story short, netuse is going to be the command if you want to map a network drive to your computer, or you want to map a network share to a drive letter on your device. I'd say largely that's what you need to know. The chances of you needing to know any of these specifics are pretty low, I would say. All right, so just know netuse is used to map a network drive to a drive letter, a network share to a drive letter on your computer, or it is used to access a network share. You can do it temporarily as well. okay? And you can get an idea of what that command might look like here. Largely, that is what you need to know about netuse though. Now, we come to the traceroute command. Traceroute is kind of like ping, but with a bit of additional information. Okay, so with ping, it gave us that very, very basic information about, hey, yes, we're getting a response. This is roughly how long it's taking. But route tracing does that for every step along the way. So it is just like ping, but it doesn't just ping the final address and give us the data on that. It pings the final address, but it tells us what's happening at every hop along the way. So if we're starting here and our final destination is here, what ping will do, right? We're going to have many hops, many routers that we might go through along the way. Ping simply goes, okay, fantastic. This is how long it took to get from here to here. But traceroute will go, okay, this is how long it took to get from here to here. This is how long it took to get from here to here. This is how long it took to get from here to here. This is how long it took to get from here to here, right? All the way for every single one until the end. Right? And it will give you a summary of saying from here to here took this long, from here to here took this long, from here to here took this long. So a little bit more detail, okay? So what that is good for is if you want to try to identify some bottlenecks, right? Where maybe you can say, okay, this is the exact router where we're losing that data. Traceroute will help you do that. So how does that work? Whoops, we're not at path ping yet. How does that work exactly? Let's take a look. Let's say I wanted to go traceroute to 8.8.8.8. Now, have a look at what this does. If we wait and watch, right, it is going to trace the first hop with this IP address, give me some statistics, and then the second hop, this IP address, give me some statistics, and then so it's doing it every step along the way, right? That's the difference between traceroute and ping. That's the one. Okay. So the final one is called path ping, and that's basically taking traceroute and ping and putting them on steroids. So it is a combined analysis. It combines ping and traceroute features. It has detailed network analysis. It also gives performance metrics. It tells us about the latency, tells us about the packet loss at each hop. So essentially, path ping is going to take longer than traceroute and ping, but it is going to give us so much more information. So if you want a really detailed analysis, path ping is going to be the one for you, but you're just going to have to be willing to wait a little bit longer. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Path ping 8.8.8.8. Now, it's going to do this for every single one, and you might think to yourself, hey, there's not too much information going on right now, but once this finishes, it will produce a detailed output. Now, I'm actually not going to sit and do that because I need to get this video done and it takes quite a while, but just know the output is like super detailed, all right? And if you want a ping and traceroute on steroids, you're going to go with path ping, okay? Now, let's go ahead and go to disk management related commands. So the first thing is check disk, CHKDSK. So this checks the disk volume integrity, it finds logical file system errors, and it detects bad sectors. So look, I'm not necessarily going to show you each of these because there's not much to show, to be honest. You just need to know what they do and when you would use them. So you would use the check disk if you want to check your disk volume integrity and you want to find any logical file system errors there, okay? Once you find them, it will give you options to fix those found issues, recover readable information, and it is an important essential maintenance tool for your disk. All right, it is necessary to know about this one and when you would use it. You can see some examples of when you might use this here. So check disk followed by the drive. It'll check that specific drive that you've outlined. Check disk followed by drive /R is going to locate bad sectors and recover readable information, R for recover, and you can read the other two here. But just note, check disk is for use when you need to check that disk and its integrity, all right? The next one is the format command. Now, of course, we need to be careful with this. We should hopefully have a rough understanding of what formatting is. Basically, if you format your drive, you're going to be erasing all data, all right? So you are going to have to be prepared. If you use the format command, you are going to be eliminating all data on that drive. So it prepares the storage drive for use. And when you're formatting your drive, you are going to be specifying whether or what type of file system type you want that drive to have. So NTFS or APFS or REFS, etc. All the ones we went through in a previous exam objective. When you're formatting it with a particular file type there. Okay. If you have a new drive, you're going to need to format that drive. Don't practice this one, guys. You'll wipe all your data. Don't do it. Just know about it. All right. So if you want to format a specific drive, you can, and you just say format and then the drive, it will format with the default file system. So if you're on Windows, it's going to be NTFS, right, etc. We know what those default file systems are for different operating systems from a previous exam objective, hopefully. And you can have a look at the other ones here, but just know the format command, format your drive. Right, that's pretty much it. Disk part. So what does disk part do? It is a powerful command line disk management tool used for advanced partition operation. So disk part, disk partition. So if you want to organize how your disk is partitioned, you would use the disk part tool. If you want to start disk part, you will use the command disk part, which will start the disk part command interpreter. It will open an interactive environment which requires administrator privileges. But just know, guys, for your exam, don't overcomplicate this. You would use disk part to manage the partitions on your drive. All right, that is pretty much it. Moving on to file management. How can we create, remove, and copy files and folders? The first one is MD, or make directory. All right, there's two different commands you can use for this. We have MD, or you can also use mkdir, mkdir, MD or mkdir. I use MD because it is easier to type. Right. So what does this do? It creates a new directory, which remember is just a folder at a specified location. So let's just really quickly go into, let's go dir to see what I have. Let's go CD into, why don't we go videos? Now I could do MD, make directory. Well, actually, let's have a look at what's in here first. So this is what's in here, right? You can see what's in here. I'm going to go MD, silly file. All right, now let's go to again. And now we can see it has actually made the directory silly file. So that is in there. All right. So we have successfully made that directory silly file simply using the MD command. That's all we need to know, really. We just did the first one, MD with directory name. All right. And you can also put spaces in there, is all that's saying. And then the MD path / new directory. If you want to create it at a specific location without actually being in that directory, you can just outline the path before you do that, right? So what that would look like, let's say I am currently in users mat C, but I decide to go to documents and I want to make another file back here without actually moving back there physically. I just want to give a command that makes something there. I could go MD, input the full path, and then simply call it another silly file. All right, so now if I go back to users mat C, I should be able to see that it has made another silly file, but I didn't have to be present there. All right, so that's just another specific command you can do there if you don't want to actually move to where you're making that. All right, and similarly, rmdir, or remove directory, is going to remove that folder that we just made. So if I want to remove another silly file, I can go rmdir, another silly file, boom. And now if I have a look, another silly file is gone. So that's simple, that's simple. Don't need to know much more than that. You can pause and read that if you want, but really that's what you need to know. Okay, robocopy. It is essentially a way that you can copy files, but in a way that is very robust. Robo in this instance, essentially we can think of it as standing for robust copy. It is a method of copying that is designed for complex scenarios and for network resilience. So if you want to be able to copy a file or folder or multiple files over a network, and even if you have some network issues, have that copy still take place in a robust manner, knowing that you can trust that it's going to navigate any issues, you would want to use robocopy. So if you want to copy one file or folder from another file or folder, you can use the command robocopy. Have a look at the specifics here. I'm going to try to get a bit of a move on because this video is going a little longer than I wanted it to. So And again, some more advanced options here, but really for the sake of your exam, just know robocopy is used to copy a file or folder or directory from one place to another in a way that is designed to sustain potential interruptions, okay? That's really what you need to know. Now, system information, some commands related to this. The hostname command is going to display the name of your host computer. It's going to show your network name and quick machine identification. So if I go here and I just go host name, it will just give me my host name. That's pretty much it, okay? It'll give me the name so I can say, oh, okay, that's the computer that I'm on right now. Net user command is used for user account management. It manages user accounts on your local computer or domain if you are a part of one. It is an administrative tool which allows you to create, modify, and delete accounts and view user information. Okay, so the net user command allows you to do all of that. Net user will list all user accounts. I only have one, okay? I only have one. Sorry for the formatting here, but net user followed by your username will provide you information relating to that particular user. Same for the username and password. You can change the password. Net user followed by username, password, /add allows you to add a new local user account, and net user followed by the username will delete the specified user if you put the /delete after it. But for your exam, just know net user allows you to manage the users on a device or on a domain using some of these commands. And I do apologize for that formatting, guys. Must have made that one in a bit of a rush. Now the winver command, simply put, I don't even need to read the slide to you because I'm just going to show you. It's so self-explanatory. If I type in winver, it'll just bring up this little window. And it'll tell me what version of Windows I'm using. Okay, win version. If you want. Now the who am I command will tell you all of this information about yourself. Who are you? What current user are you? What domain are you a part of? What security groups do you belong to? What are your privileges? And what is your security ID? So specifically, if you just type in who am I, it will just show you the following, right? Who am I? I just get who I am, right? That's all it tells me. Alternatively, who am I /groups, if I type that and check this out, who am I /groups, it will give me a lot of information about the groups I belong to, etc., my permissions, all of that stuff, okay? Now, additionally, if I want to know comprehensive information, if I want all the information it has to give me, I can type in who am I /all. It's going to give me all of this information. So everything you need to know, everything about me and who I am, okay? Fundamentally, that's what you need to know. All right, we're almost there, guys. Now, universal help. If you need to know how to use a command, and this is going to be really good for you guys in a second when I give you some troubleshooting activities or some practice activities to do. If you get stuck, try using this command to figure out how do I actually use this command that I'm learning about here. So you can put in the command name followed by /?. So let's say I don't know how to use ping. I'll type in ping /?, and it will actually tell me, hey, these are the flags that I can use with ping, and this is what they do. So I can type in ping flag T, which will ping the specified host until stopped, /A, which will resolve addresses to host names, etc. All right, so it'll tell you exactly how to use that particular command. Now, finally, OS management GP update command. So the group policy update command will allow you to refresh group policy settings on local computer immediately. You don't need to restart or log off, and you can apply any policies that have changed by inputting GP update command. So you can update user and computer policies, or if you do /force, you can force complete reapplication even if unchanged. /target:computer will update only on the specified computer. Only computer policies, and GP update /target:user will update only user policies. So you can get really specific, but just know GP update can be used to update those policies on devices. Let's skip over that. We don't really need that. Now, GP result command is a way for us to verify that those changes have taken place. So it will display the resultant set of policies for users or computers, and it will verify that those applied group policy settings have actually been applied. Okay, some more for you there. Really, I'd be surprised if you need to know that though. So another one we need to know about is SFC. I would say this one will probably almost certainly come up. This command is used to check your system integrity. Functionally, it is scanning for corrupt system files, okay? It is scanning for corrupt system files, and it will restore or repair those corrupt files if it finds them. So, SFC/scan now. I'd say the chances that you will be asked if you need to use this are very high. The chances that you need to know about SFC/scan now, I would say, are at about 100%. So please make sure you're familiar with this one. Really tune in. So this will scan all protected system files. It will attempt to repair any corruption, and it requires elevated command prompt. So you'll see, if I go to type this in, if I go to type in SFC/scan now, it will say you must be an administrator running a console session in order to use the SFC utility. Why? Simply because we're scanning the system and trying to make some pretty significant repairs and changes. So just know SFC scan now will scan your system for corrupt files and attempt to repair those files, okay? Later in the troubleshooting section, we'll get into when you might want to actually use this, but if you think you might have corrupt files, use that command, all right? Have a look at the other ones, but really that's what I'd say you need to know about. Now, let's get into our first practice question, guys. We made it, all right? It's gone a bit longer than I would have liked, but we've made it. The first question is, an IT support specialist is troubleshooting a network issue where a user cannot access a company website. The specialist wants to determine if the computer has a valid IP address, subnet mask, and DNS server address. Which command line utility should they use to view this information? Is it A, ping, B, ipconfig, C, netstat, or D, nslookup? Your answer is coming in 3, in 2, in 1. Your answer is B, ipconfig, all right? Remember, ipconfig shows you your IP address, your subnet mask, your default gateway, and DNS server addresses as well. Ping is used to do that really quick test. Netstat shows your active network connections and listening ports, and nslookup resolves URL addresses or IP addresses depending on what you put in. All right, so hopefully we got that one right. Pause and read if you need to, but the next question reads, a user wants to quickly find out their computer's network name. Which simple command line utility can provide this information without any additional parameters? Is it A, who am I? B, hostname, C, winver, or D, dir? Ooh, pause the video if you need some more time. Your answer is coming quickly in 3, 2, 1. It is B, host name is the answer there. So the hostname command really quickly gives you the network name of the computer that it is running on. It will show you who you are, what the host name is. Who am I displays the username of the current user, but not the name of the computer itself. Winver will tell you the version of Windows that you're using, and dir lists the files and folders or directories in the folder that you are currently in. It has no function for displaying the computer's network name. So hopefully we got that one right. Next one asks, an IT professional wants to view all currently active network connections and listening ports on a computer to check for unauthorized network activity. Which command line utility is used for this purpose? Is it A, netuse, B, ipconfig, C, netstat, or D, ping? Pause the video if you need more time. Coming in 3, 2, 1. It is C, netstat. That is the correct command. Hopefully we got that one, guys. The netstat command will show you your active network connections and those listening ports as well. Netuse is used to use or connect to or map a shared network resource. ipconfig, we talked about that, and ping is that quick test, remember. All right, the next one, I think this is the last one, reads, an administrator has recently changed group policy settings on the domain controller and needs to force a computer to apply these new policies immediately. Which command should they use to update the group policy without waiting for the default refresh interval? Is it A, gp-result/r, B, gp-update, C, sfc/scan now, or D, gp-update/force? Your answer coming in 3, in 2, in 1. And the answer is B, GP update. Ooh, a bit of a trick question on that one, guys. Let's actually go through this. So the question said, he's recently changed group policy settings on the domain controller and needs to force a computer to apply these new policies immediately. So he has changed them and he wants to apply the ones that have changed immediately. So GP result, it's going to give us the result. It's not going to do anything about actually applying changes. It's just going to check to see if those results have occurred. GP update is going to update all of those changes that we've made now, but it's only going to update the ones that have changed. In this particular question, he only wants to update the ones that have changed, okay? So GP update will do this job. SFC scan now is the one that scans for corrupt system files irrelevant to this job. GP update / force. Why is that not the answer? Well, force does work and it would get the job done, but force is generally used to reapply all policies even if they haven't changed. In this case, we just needed to apply the ones that have changed, and GP update would actually do that. So a bit of a trick question, right? Be careful there. Force will apply all policies even if they haven't changed, and GP update will apply the ones that have changed. All right, so really we didn't need to add that force. This one would do it, but the most correct answer is GP update. All right, hopefully we got that right. That was a trick one. Don't beat yourself up if you got it wrong. Just take it as a lesson in really reading the question carefully and thinking about what it is asking and thinking, hey, is there anything here they're trying to trick me with? All right, now, we have another one. Look at this. I'm going to make this the last one. This question reads, a user needs to create a new directory on their computer. They have navigated to the desired location and want to create a new folder named mydocs. Which command would accomplish this? A, md mydocs, B, cd mydocs, C, rmdir mydocs, or D, dir mydocs. Your answer coming in 3, in 2, in 1. Here we go. It is A, md mydocs. All right, if you want to create a new directory, you can use the md command and then type in the name of the folder that you want to create. All right, hopefully we know that. CD would change directory, dir would remove it, and dir would just list the directories that are the folders, files that are in that current directory. All right, guys, we're going to skip that last one because I'm running out of voice here. But look, I've helped so many people pass their 1101, 1102, 1201, 1202 exams. That's what this person is saying. I've helped them pass. I helped this person pass their core 1, 1201. I helped this person intake information more easily. I help this person do the same thing. This person says my notes helped them pass their tests. This person says they got almost full marks and are moving on to Network Plus. This person passed their core 1, now moving on to core 2. Right, you get the picture. Now, how did they do this? They bought my learning guide. So my learning guide has broken down by exam objective, or with notes and practice questions. So you've got notes, practice questions, all broken down by exam objective. You've got 3 full-length randomized practice exams. You've got a video where I show you how to actually strategically tackle and study with multiple choice questions, one where I show you how to use advanced AI study tricks, and one where I show you how to actually tackle these multiple choice questions in the exam and some tactics you can use. So if that sounds good to you, head over to journeytocyber.com/1202 or the link in the description or comments below if you want me to help you pass with more than just this free video content. Especially this video, guys, I really moved through this really quickly because it's a really dense topic, and it's already taken me how long? It's taken me 50 minutes to do one video here, and I still haven't really covered everything. I've given you a good all-round understanding, and you should be good to go. But if you want to make sure and be like those people that I help pass, go ahead and head over to Get My Learning Guide. But if you don't want to, stick with the free content as well. There's no stress, no pressure. All right, guys, look, I'm going to get on to doing the next one, which I'll see you in a second, exam objective 1.6. All right, see you soon, guys.